Coefficient of x squared in the expansion of 1 plus 4x to the power n is 3,360. Given that n is a positive integer, find the value of n. Now in this case, because we've got here power n, we can't use Pascal's triangle yet because we don't know what row to take. Alright, so what we do is we use the result in the formula booklet, right? So this will be given to you in the exam, and you literally turn to page 2, okay, and you can see then where it says binomial series. Here then, this is the formula we're interested in, okay? So what I tend to do is, I tend to copy it out, right? So all you need to do is copy the first 3 terms here, okay? You don't need to copy sort of the continuation of it here, showing you how it continues. Leave that, okay? We just want the first 3 terms here. In fact, in terms of how it continues, right, it's quite simple because this is nx, and then we've got n minus 1 x squared, and that's 1 times 2, right? It's not 1.2, it's 1 times 2. So what's actually happening is, on the top, the n's are reducing, aren't they? I've got n there, n minus 1. On the bottom, the numbers are increasing at 1 times 2. So if it came to the x cubed term, if you wanted the x cubed term, which would be the next one here, because the n's are decreasing at the top, I'd have n minus 1, n minus 2. So I'd literally write that down. Okay, on the top. On the bottom then, the numbers are increasing, aren't they? So I've got 1 times 2 here. So here I'd have 1 times 2 times 3. So that's the pattern. You're reducing the n's on the top, increasing the numbers on the bottom. Okay, so let's go to our question. Now, it's not 1 plus x, it's 1 plus 4x, but that's okay, right? Because all you've got to do then is replace the x with 4x. Okay, so here I've got nx, just put in 4x instead. And the same here then. Now, n minus 1, on the bottom, 1.2, well that's 1 times 2, isn't it? Which is just 2. Okay, so I can do that straight away. And remember then, x has become 4x, and I've got to square it, so make sure you square all of it, right? Okay, you square all of the 4x. It's not just x squared, it's going to be 4x all squared. So this then becomes 1 plus 4nx, okay, so put the number in front, plus then n minus 1 over 2. Now if we square that, square the 4, you get 16, and square the x, you get x squared. Okay, so further simplification then, you get 1 plus 4nx, and here then, well, you've got 16 then on the top, 2 on the bottom. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And we get that there. Now it does say then the coefficient of x squared is 3,360. Now when they talk about the coefficient, they're talking about all the stuff in front of it, right? So the stuff in front of the x squared here is that. So we could say, look, 8n, n minus 1 is equal to 3,360. Okay, the coefficient there. That's what they said there is 3,360. So we want us to find n then, and take note as well, n's got to be positive, right? Okay, so when it comes to then solving this for n, okay, we might be thinking of multiplying that through, which is wise thing to do. But before we do that, let's see if we can sort of scale it down. You know, is there a common factor here? Does 8 go, 8, we've got that, does 8 go into that? And what you find is it does. So if we divide through by 8, we'll have n then, n minus 1. Divide that by 8, you get 420. Okay, so then it's a case of expanding this. So we get n squared minus n. When you multiply that out, n times n is n squared, n times 1 is n, equals to 420. Get everything to one side, you've got yourself a quadratic. Now, it looks like a difficult quadratic because in this case now you've got to find 2 numbers that multiply to give minus 420 and add up to give this number here, which is minus 1. And you'll often find this with these questions, right, where they need to add up to give minus 1, okay, and then multiply to give this. The good thing is, right, because they need to add up to give minus 1, our 2 numbers have to be consecutive. In other words, it has to be the next one after it, right? So if we chose 7, for instance, the next one would have to be 8, wouldn't it? Because you need to be able to add them to give minus 1, okay? But the key is they've got to multiply to give 420. So because the numbers are consecutive, what I do is think of your square numbers. Okay, think of your square numbers. What square number is close to 420? And you know, if you know your square numbers, you'll know that 20 squared is 400. Okay. If you don't know that, you just use a calculator. Just have a go. Just have a look at what square number is close to 420. You know, you could just keep trying. You could do 15 squared. Well, that's nowhere near. So start increasing it, and you'll end up getting 20 squared, which is 400. Right? Now, 20 squared is 400. In other words, 20 times 20. Okay. Well, to get 420, I need to do 21 times 20, wouldn't I? So my two numbers are going to be 20 and 21, and they're consecutive. They're next to each other. To get them to add up to give minus 1, I need that to be a minus and that to be a plus. Okay. So I've got plus 20 minus 21, and that equals to 0. Okay. That will work, won't it, when you multiply out? So you've got then either n plus 20 equals 0 or n minus 21 equals 0. So n will equal minus 20 or n will equal to 21. And remember it said n is positive, yes? We say, look, since n is positive, n then has got to equal to 21.